Buenas, Jesús, ¿qué pasa? ¿Qué
Muy
tal? ¿Cómo
buenas, David.
estás?
Muy bien,
¿Qué
mejor que
dices?
nunca aquí. Pues mira, aquí que estaba aburrido, no tenía nada que hacer, y digo, pues mira, me voy a pasar por la Meetup a ver qué se cuentan.
Pues nada, pues sí. Hoy además, hoy cruzamos el charco.
Invitada muy
Hoy hemos...
especial,
Sí,
invitada muy especial.
me alegro un montón porque, bueno, en esta iniciativa salió un poco ahí de conversación ahí con Jesús, dijimos, oye, ahora que estamos en Meetup Online, tenemos la posibilidad de traer, bueno, ponentes de todo el mundo, en principio. Pues mira, salió la oportunidad de sacar una charla en inglés que bueno, que seguramente entenderemos todos mucho y unos más, otros menos, pero
Seguro
bueno,
que sí.
seguro que
Seguro que
sí.
sí.
Y se trata de eso, un poco de aprender cómo lo hacen otras comunidades, porque seguramente será muy interesante. Y
Sí.
bueno, la verdad es que pinta muy bien. O sea, que enhorabuena, Jesús, por organizar esta mitad.
Bueno, yo estoy nerviosísimo, ¿eh? No te lo puedes
No, no
creer
te
ya.
preocupes. Estamos en casa, estamos en WordPress Granada, no hay problema ninguno. Bueno,
Muy bien, muy
pues
bien.
empiezo un poquito a presentar la meetup de hoy. Como hemos dicho, pues bueno, nosotros queríamos mantener cada cierto tiempo una charla internacional. Ahora que estamos en charlas de online, que tenemos posibilidad de traer ponentes, pues seguramente intentaremos traer a más gente que sea relevante en el mundo de WordPress. En este caso, pues bueno, la relación que tiene Jesús con la comunidad brasileña, pues no queremos perder esa relación. Entonces, él estuvo en WordCamp Sao Paulo y bueno, y ahora nos presentará a la ponente. Así que desde aquí, pues bueno, animaros también a todos los que sois de la comunidad de WordPress Granada, pues también tener iniciativa de crear pues cualquier charla o cualquier ponencia. También deciros que tenéis www.granada.es/ideas para, bueno, vosotros que veáis ideas que veáis interesantes de comentar, pues podemos ir viéndolas. ¿Qué más cositas? Bueno, nos tenéis en el Twitter WP Granada, que también estamos emitiendo en YouTube, como estáis viendo, y también estamos emitiendo en Twitter. ¿Vale? Bueno, todo esto viene gracias a los patrocinadores que tenemos aquí abajo, por aquí. Tenemos a SiteGround, que es el hosting especializado en WordPress, que ahí muy bien, Jesús. Que nos permite crear sitios WordPress de una forma rápida y bastante segura. Es un alojamiento bastante fiable, el soporte funciona excepcional. Y para aquellos bueno, que entráis a la Meetup, tenéis una oferta especial en siteground.es/Meetup. Ahí tenéis una oferta especial que os ha preparado SiteGround para los asistentes a este evento. Así que muchas gracias a SiteGround por confiar en nosotros y seguir patrocinando y hacer posible que sean las transmisiones online. De hecho, este software que nosotros utilizamos también lo estamos facilitando a otras comunidades, como Valencia, como Málaga. Es decir, nosotros al final pues lo que queremos que también ayudar a otras comunidades y realmente pues muy contentos de poder aportar nuestro granito de arena a otras comunidades. También tenemos el patrocinio de Wiglot, que hoy viene totalmente a colación, Wiglot, que es un plugin que
Tanto.
permite... Sí, totalmente, que permite convertir tu página web, que estamos hablando de internacionalizarse, pues permite convertir tu página web en multilingüe en cuestión de segundos. Y puedes pues elegir el idioma en inglés, francés, y directamente te hace una parte de traducción para que incluso se pueda indexar por Google, ¿vale? Luego, evidentemente, hay que contar con profesionales, como por ejemplo Jesús o cualquier otra persona que sepa del tema de los idiomas para poder perfeccionar o afinar esas traducciones automáticas y al final, pues bueno, tener una traducción que realmente la gente pueda verlo, que sea muy cercana a su idioma, ¿no? Quiero decir una cosa que lo hicimos el anterior y lo mandamos también. Hicimos un sorteo de camisetas de WordPress Granada para que los asistentes que estéis y que rellenéis que ya tenéis aquí ahora, os voy a poner una dirección que es wpgranada/sorteo, ¿vale? Os lo voy a habilitar en un minuto en cuanto empecemos a hablar con Anisa. Y al final, aquellos que rellenéis el formulario, al final de la ponencia, pues haremos sorteo en riguroso directo. Y bueno, pues regalamos tres camisetas. Les dije que me mandaran fotos, pero no se han podido hacer fotos. Han llegado.
Han llegado, ¿no?
Me consta que ha llegado la camiseta, además chulísima. y bueno, pues así que Jesús, tú
David,
también
¿yo puedo
puedes
participar
participar.
o...?
Claro,
Vale,
claro, sí,
gracias.
sí. Claro,
Ahora
claro, sí,
mismo.
tú. Así que tú ves rellenando y ya está. Sí, es verdad que vamos a hacer la limitación de que sea solo para los residentes en España. Lo siento porque, bueno, en la anterior mitad sí es verdad que hubo un colombiano y le respetamos, pero es que cuesta una pasta mandarlo
Está
fuera de
bastante.
España y se nos va de presupuesto. Pero bueno, no queríamos quedar mal con el chico colombiano y de hecho le ha llegado la camiseta allí en Colombia. O sea que tenemos una camiseta de WordPress grabada en Colombia. Así que muy bien. Y ya está, para terminar, como dentro de la comunidad de WordPress tenemos más eventos. Bueno, recordaros que a continuación vosotros habréis recibido, si estáis en meetup.com inscritos, un enlace de Zoom para entrar en vernos al final los que estamos aquí y hablar un poquito con Anisa si hemos visto algún detalle más, aparte de las preguntas que vosotros podáis hacer, que luego Jesús las traducirá al inglés a Anisa, así que vamos a aprovechar que está Anisa de Brasil. Y bueno, mañana tenemos 29 de octubre, tenemos WordPress Cartagena, novedades para que tu web cumpla completamente con la normativa vigente en 2020. WordPress Tarragona comparando WordPress.org y WordPress.com en 2020 también, todo muy actualizado. Y WordPress Alcalá Henares, que hablarán de Mastermind, cada uno hace un poco. Nada, te di paso, Jesús, y vamos a dar también paso a Anisa y ya nos la presenta. Ya sí es verdad que Jesús le he pedido que hable en inglés con Anisa porque si va a presentarla, pues hombre, no queda bien que no entienda lo que dices de ella, que seguramente será todo muy bueno, pero pasamos
Bueno,
entonces
siempre.
a modo inglés, así que bueno, vamos a poner todos los oídos muy atentos y aprender un poquito de todo. Pues nada, damos bienvenida a Anisa. Hello,
Good
Anisa.
evening. Good evening,
Hello,
Anissa.
how are you?
Welcome to WordPress Granada. How are you
Gracias.
doing? De nada. Okay. So, first of all, thank you for accepting our invitation to come to WordPress Granada. And then I'm going to introduce you first, and then it will start. Okay.
Okay.
So, Anissa is one of the organizers in WordPress Sao Paulo. She's a founder of a design and development agency with WordPress or not. I don't know, but I guess with WordPress. And she's gonna talk. She comes to talk about WordPress Brazil community, how it works, challenges, perspective for the future. Then remember that, as David said before, the talk is gonna be in English. I'm not sure that you will understand everything, but if you did understand something, you tell me, and I will we will repeat something or make any clarification. Also remember, you can ask your questions on the chat area, and Anissa, we will answer at the end of the talk. If you don't know how to make a question in English, you can make it in Spanish, and I will translate it for Anissa. And I don't know if I missed something. I think that's all, but I think that's okay. So, Anissa, that's all yours. Welcome again.
Thank you, Anissa.
Thank you both for inviting me. I'm happy to speak to the Spanish community. I was supposed to be in Spanish last week, but we can't right now. But I hope I can meet your country soon, because I see that's beautiful.
Yeah, we hope so.
So
Okay,
let's.
we leave you. Bye, Anissa.
We left here.
We left.
We leave you alone, okay?
Okay, see you.
See you.
Okay, so let's talk a little about the Brazilian community and how we do things here in our country. Jesus already introduced me, but I am Anissa Ferreira. I am a designer and front-end developer. I am one of the organizers of WordPress São Paulo community, and I participate in the community since 2013, I guess. Here are my Twitter. We can keep chatting there. So if you want to ask me questions, you can also do it on Twitter. And my website, I work with WordPress development specifically, and we develop websites for a variety of companies here in Brazil and in other countries as well. So about Brazil, I'm sure everyone has this image in their heads when we talk about Brazil. It's like a lot of green, yellow, and blue, nature, landscapes, soccer, and samba. And this is right, but Brazil is not only this. And we usually laugh about this because it's just a really small part of our country. And Brazil is a huge country. So we have a population of, the data is wrong here, but I'll correct it later, is 2012 million people. We have 5 regions inside Brazil, and we have 26 states, plus the federal district, which is the capital of our country, Brasilia. And we are the 8th biggest economy in the world. Our territory is roughly half of South America, and we speak Brazilian Portuguese, because we also have a joke that some people think that we speak Spanish, but yeah, we don't. So Brazil being so big and so in every sense of the word, we have a huge diversity in everything, about the people, about the culture, about our inheritance. We are one of the most diverse people in the world. We have European influence, indigenous and African, and many other types of people who came here to Brazil. So when we talk about the people specifically, we can really say that this person looks Brazilian, because it could be like a blonde person or a black person or someone completely different. And every state has its own culture and its own food. Everything is really different in Brazil. Talking about the population specifically, the density in Brazil is very distributed towards the littoral, the coast. So the states that are darker have the biggest population in Brazil. And we have a lot of space, but there is some states that there is a really small population, and others that are equivalent to like countries that are so big that are equivalent with some countries. For comparison, we have the city of São Paulo. It's the most populous city in Brazil, in the Americas, in the Western Hemisphere, in the Southern Hemisphere. So it's really huge. I don't remember the exact number, but I guess maybe 13 million people live here. I am in São Paulo right now. I would show you the view of my window. I am down in downtown São Paulo, but well. And it's a huge city. It's a technology hub in the world, an economic hub in Brazil, in South America. So it's a very important city. And most of the biggest technology companies have are settled here. So we have Google offices, Uber office, and everything else. And because of that, we have a huge market on technology, and there are people working in technology. The more there are always, how can I say? The people working in technology is increasing constantly. So, I'm talking about the WordPress community specifically in Brazil. The Brazilian WordPress community started in 2008 when a group of people thought about translating WordPress to Brazilian Portuguese, creating an official translation to Brazilian Portuguese. So Katia Kitahara reached the WordPress community, and she met with José Fontainhas, who is Portuguese, and Anderson Clayton, who is another Brazilian. And they started to translate WordPress to our Portuguese specifically. We can understand people from Portugal really well, but it's almost like the British English and the American English. So we have some differences, and we needed a specific version of the translation of the WordPress. So they translated it, and the first version that was translated to Brazilian Portuguese was the 2.5 WordPress version, and they also started the Brazilian forum and started giving support for the WordPress, because with this translation there were a lot of new users who started using WordPress, so the support demand increased. And in the next year, Matt Mullenweg attended an event in South America. I guess it was Latinoware, and he went to Brazil, and the community here organized WordCamp Brazil 2009 in a few days to welcome Matt. So he spoke at WordCamp Brazil 2009, and it was the first WordCamp here in Brazil. It was in São Paulo. And after this, the community really started to grow and work with WordPress and translate, and the community really flourished after this. Today, the WordPress community, we have 20 active meetup groups, and we had 25 WordCamps since 2009. And it's not a lot, especially considering the size of Brazil. I guess Spain have a lot more meetup groups and WordCamps. But our community went with some ups and downs, and we the community here kind of shrunk a little. We are going to talk about this in a moment, but we have a very centralized community, as you can see on the map. And the most meetups are near São Paulo and Rio de Janeiro and Paraná, which are 3 states that are really close. And we are working to understand why this happens and how can we change it, because the idea is that we can bring the WordPress community to other cities and states, especially in the regions that don't have any, like the north region of the country. So here is WordCamp São Paulo. It's from, I guess, 2018. And our community in São Paulo is, I think, the most traditional one, because the events started here, and we have the privilege to be in the center of the technology scene here in Brazil. So we have WordCamps every year since 2012. The first WordCamp São Paulo specifically was in 2012. And since then we have WordCamps every year. And we try to create an event where people can gather from the whole country. And it's a awesome experience, organized WordCamp. If you already had this experience, you know what I'm talking. It's very rewarding. And WordCamp São Paulo, we try every year, we try new things, and we try to create, have ideas and innovate in some way. So, for instance, this picture is for with a group of people who came from a public school, and they brought the children from this school so they could experience how is a conference, a professional conference. And we had a workshop for the kids, and they created their own blogs, and it was awesome. And we try to collaborate with other WordCamps. We try to present the ideas that we have and learn with them too, because Brazilians are very creative and we like to try things. And I think the other WordCamps also taught us a lot. So they really also experiment new things, and we really learn with each other. So let's talk about the challenges of the WordPress Brazilian community. First, I think the biggest challenge here it's the language barrier. Only 5% of the Brazilians speak English. So when we need to speak with people from other countries, English may be an option for a small part of the population, but it's not so easy to find people who speak English, especially in other cities and states. So because of this, we have a need for localized and translated content. We need tutorials in Portuguese, we need videos, we need talks and workshops, everything in Portuguese. And WordPress is only so big in Brazil because it was translated. So we know the power of the translation and the power of language. And we try to deal with this by translating content and bringing a lot of content in Portuguese. There is currently a nice generation of YouTubers who are creating Portuguese content for Brazil, like Felipe Lia, Felipe Sintra, Catarina Farina, and many others who have a great way to teach WordPress in Portuguese. There are also newsletters like Painel WP from Daniel Cosma, and a lot of other contents, the people who are creating content in Portuguese. So we really need this. And we try to also bring the content that is published in America or in Europe and translate to Portuguese. Also, we don't speak Spanish either. So we are the only Lusophone country in South America, and all of our neighbors, almost all of our neighbors, speak Spanish. So it's hard to communicate with countries like Peru, Colombia, Venezuela, Argentina. So we feel a little isolated. So the isolation is not only happening from in the outside, like Brazil with other countries, but it's also a little isolated inside Brazil because the country is so big. Most of the events occur in cities like São Paulo and Rio de Janeiro, and so I'm sure that people from other cities feel isolated from the rest of the country. So we try to feature speakers from other cities and regions whenever we can in WordCamps. WordCamps are usually like really local events, but in Brazil, because we don't have that many WordCamps, we try to bring people from everywhere in the country. We also try to help other communities to grow. We try to kind of mentor them to create their own meetup groups or even to evolve to a WordCamp. And also we have the WP Brazil Slack group, which is the group where we organize our community, and we speak with there are people from everywhere in the country. We exchange ideas and we organize events. And now with the pandemic and the social isolation, we are trying to make online events. We are planning the next events in São Paulo, which will be online talks. And we hope that this makes easier to other people to access this content or even share and speak in the meetups. About diversity, our challenge is to simply reflect the population of Brazil in our events. So Brazil is a very diverse country, and it makes no sense if the event doesn't represent this. So we have a huge concern with this. And in WordCamp São Paulo, we always try to stimulate women and people of color and people with disabilities to speak. And we translate the event to Brazilian Sign Language, which is Libras. And we also caption the talks, so people who doesn't hear can see the talks, and we try everything we can to make the event more diverse and more accessible. Talking about opportunities, because because we feel a little isolated from the rest of the world, we feel that we have a lot of opportunities here, for not only for people from Brazil, but also for people and companies from outside Brazil. We don't have a lot of big names speaking on our WordCamps and meetups, and sometimes people feel like the big names of the WordPress communities are like super celebrities, and they would never like be able to watch a presentation from these people. And last year, I went to WordCamp Europe, and I had the opportunity to meet with the big names, and they are just normal people, really, really nice and very approachable. But we feel like sometimes we don't have access to these people, and also not only the people, but the news, the participating in the process of developing WordPress, contributing with the core and the software in general. So I think there is an opportunity to show Brazilian people that yes, we can be a real part of this community for real, and influence the how the community is evolving in general. We also feel like there are big companies who doesn't see Brazil as a market, and or maybe some place that is worth investing. So we have a lack of products and services designed specifically for the Brazilian audience, and especially considering the exchange rate of euro and real, which is our currency. And sometimes it's just not viable to invest in a product that was developed for a European or an American audience. But we have the demand here. So companies who realize this and invest in creating products, especially for the Brazilian market, they usually thrive and really have an impact in the local market. Also, this is a reason because sometimes people here don't find a solution, and they maybe try to use plugins and themes that are not suited to the project they are making, they are creating. So when the companies realize that Brazil is a huge market and that we need these products and these plugins, these themes, and hosting, I think there will be a growth in the Brazilian market and for these companies. We have a very talented people who are from Brazil, and we are working in every aspect of the WordPress community, but sometimes it takes a lot of time for companies and to other people, to other people realize that there are these talents, these hidden gems in Brazil. This photo is from Claudio Sanchez and Rodrigo Primo. They work at Automatic, and they are WooCommerce developers, and they are two of the biggest specialists in WooCommerce in the world. We have specialists in every field, like WordPress, and we have great agencies, and we have a lot of developers working for the biggest companies. But there are even more people who are talented. Maybe they still don't speak English, but this is something that they can learn. And this is an opportunity for the companies to realize this potential and maybe sponsor the people who work for the community, or to hire these talents as developers or as agencies. So that's it. Gracias. And now I will answer the questions.
Hello.
Thank you, Anissa. Thank you.
Gracias.
Okay, so I guess we have a question here.
The question today. Yeah, we have people from Brazil, Gustavo.
Okay.
Sacra Sol, welcome to WordPress Granada. Fran is as well here. Jesus say hello. We were telling about the English title. Alison Souza. Hola. A lot of people. Okay. Jesus.
Oh, that's me. Okay. So, it's how do you usually manage to go to a meetup or WordCamp in our city? What's the easiest way? Because I am aware that distances in Brazil are quite huge sometimes.
Well, I usually attend meetups that are in nearby cities, so I just go by car. But I went in meetups like I had to take a plane. So in Curitiba, for instance, it was like a 40 minutes flight, but it was a really nice experience. So I think depending, usually when people are already going to travel for the city and they check if there is a meetup happening, they attend the meetup.
Okay.
We have 25
nice.
WordCamps, so that's a lot of WordCamps to have in a country.
I think that there's a question from you. There's a question from you, David.
No, I didn't make any question. What do you mean?
Okay,
no,
it's like it's curious that there's not WordCamp Amazonas. It's late, already late. Okay, can you tell us about that, Sam? There's not.
Yeah, because I see that the north of
community?
the Brazil, the north of the Brazil, there are not WordCamps at all.
No, not yet. I think they had a community. I'm not sure if Manaus, which is the capital of Amazonas. The map are from the official meetups. Maybe there are not official meetups, but there are about WordPress there too. So yeah, we need more meetups and WordCamps in the north region of Brazil.
But what do you think for the reason? The digital, conscious.
No internet access, and
they have the access, and infrastructure, but I think it's maybe lack of stimulus and I don't know, sponsorship, because people have to work, and organizing a community is a lot of work too, so they have like to separate the time for that. So I think this maybe is because of this.
Okay, nice. I mean, we have when we make a WordCamp, the benefits of the other WordCamp goes to WordCamps like that. They don't have, for example, in Spain we have Africa. There are a lot of WordCamps that get the Europe benefits to make it possible the WordCamps in Africa. So I suppose that would be enough for other communities.
Yes.
Okay. Fran, Jesús?
Fran, there are more people in Brazil speaking English or speaking Spanish. Content is not available in Portuguese, preferred alternative language.
Great question. Francisco, we sang in Spanish in karaoke last year in WordCamp Europe. So I guess it depends. Here in São Paulo, I think people prefer English. And we used to translate a lot, like Google Translator. And we try to reach this content even when it's not in Portuguese. People here in Brazil speak what we call it Portunhol, which looks like a very bad Spanish. So we can understand Spanish, but people who speak Spanish can't understand us. So it's a little unfair.
Don't worry, my Portuguese is even worse.
So I think it's depends. People prefer like whatever is easier. Usually English, there is more content and there is more material.
Nice.
Okay,
Nilo?
nice. Nilo, do you want to read? Do you want to read or me?
No, you.
Okay.
Make a question.
How do you encourage the press project?
No, it's getting bad connection. Okay, Nisa, how do you encourage the Brazilian community to get involved with the global WordPress project? How do you make they feel part of something bigger when you are so isolated?
We try to show them our experience with it. Last year, when we were setting up the WordCamp website, and Gutenberg was in the early stages, so we went to issue and we posted it on the GitHub, and this feedback turned into a feature for Gutenberg. So speaking about this with people here in Brazil, they really, so I can contribute with WordPress even if I don't know how to code or don't know how to develop. So we try to encourage them to participate in all these aspects.
Sorry that for a moment.
No. Yeah.
Deeply sorry.
No. Okay. Leo, Germany is talking about the north of Brazil because they have to go by boat or plane, and tickets are often more expensive. And that's the sponsorship that we were talking about. Yeah, sponsorship is very important and makes the WordCamp to make it cheap for the people.
Yes, Leo is one of the founders of the Brazilian community.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's true. Going to north of Brazil is often more expensive than going to other countries.
Mhm. Mhm. Ok,
Okay.
Jesús, no hay más preguntas. There is no more question.
No more questions. Okay. So
Ok, we can, bueno,
we're
ya
gonna
podemos, bueno, yo voy a hablar en español para que me entienda todo el mundo porque tenemos el sorteo.
Spanish, please.
Vamos a cerrar ya voy a cerrar, o sea
Cool.
que los que estéis, así que hay 1, 2, 3, 4 y 5 apuntados. Así que vamos a compartir pantalla. Voy a cerrar ya el sorteo, ya que el tiempo ha tenido el que haya querido, ¿sabes? Así que vamos a ver. Voy a compartir pantalla para que se vea StreamYard, pantalla 2. Aquí pantalla 2. Un segundito. Anda, ahora no me deja esto, me cachito.
No te deja compartir,
Un
¿ok?
segundito. Permitir.
Ok.
Porque no tengo acceso. Vale. Tenemos, lo voy a poner aquí en los comentarios.
Oh, he left. Okay, we're gonna wait to coming back. Okay. Let's see, because he's the...
Ahora, perdona.
Okay, he's back.
Vale, tenemos, con el número 24 tenemos a Pelayo, ¿vale? Con el número 23, Fran. El 21, Miguel. El 20, Jesús. Yesares. Dice Jaudio, me cacho en todo. Y 19, Jesús Núñez. ¿Vale? Jesús ha participado en el sorteo. Ahí tenemos, en los comentarios pongo quién participa, ¿vale? 24, 23, 21, 20, 19. Lo pongo en... Vamos, y dijimos que en random number de Google mismo. Y voy a decir número. 5. Tenemos 5 números. A ver, tenemos desde, hemos dicho, del 19 al 24. 19 al 24. Y voy a decir 3 resultados. Venga, vamos a generar. Le he dado a generar. Y tenemos el 19, el 20 y el 24. A ver quién le ha tocado. El 19, Jesús, enhorabuena. O hago captura, ¿vale? Lo pondré en la nota del programa para que veáis que ha sido todo limpio. Lo que pasa es que como no puedo compartir pantalla no se puede ver. El 20 es Jesús Yesares también. Escúchame, Jesús Yesares, conocido también de la comunidad. Y 24 es Pelayo. Esos son los agraciados. Le mandaré un correo mañana para que me digan su dirección y que le mandemos las camisetas de WordPress Granada, ¿vale? Okay, congratulations for the people that we made in the raffle. Okay, thank you, Anissa. We meet you in Zoom. We say the people from that we could be in Zoom right now. So thank you for being in WordPress Granada.
Thank you. Gracias a todos.
Thank you very much.
Gracias a todos.
Thank you.
Coming and
Bye.
see you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.